the number one thing that you need to be doing when it comes to scaling up your business, you need to purchase as many lists as possible. That's one of our number one goals. We want as much data as possible so we're able to successfully perform those different marketing channels.
What's going on, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs. Welcome to another podcast episode. And this is the Business and Investing Podcast, where we talk about all things business and investing related. And today we have a special guest. We're going to talk about acquisitions and how you can scale your real estate business to the next level. He's doing multiple six-figure months. And we're going to talk about how you can do that same thing as well. So I want to welcome my good friend, Real Estate Ditty, Keith Everett, to the call. What's up, man?
Man, what's going on, my God, man? What's going on, man? Hope everything well with you. I mean, hey, I'm ready to knock this out, man. You know what I mean? I like to get straight to it. You know, let's just provide as much value as possible for the people. And hey, man, as long as we change one person's life with this interview, hey, I'm good with it, man. Let's get it.
That's what it's all about, man. You stay ready too, man. I love that.
Yeah, man. You got to be ready, man. You can't listen, man. You never know when the opportunity gonna come. You know what I mean? The only reason I know that because it was times I wasn't ready and I missed out. So you got to be ready at all times.
Absolutely, man. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. So your name is Keith Everett. How did you come up with the name Real Estate Ditty?
Man, you know what, man? You know, people came up with that name. You know, it used to be a different, it used to be a different name when I first got to college because I'm born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. You know what I mean? So, the way I was raised, the way I came up, you know what I mean? You know, my pops, uncles, I came up in the street type of environment. So I had to learn real quick. I always was mature. And my pops, man, I feel like he's a real OG. So when I got to college in 2009, I was already kind of mature because I was running around a little bit when I was in high school. And, I was hanging with older cats in college and they used to call me Unc. So, once I start climbing the ranks up down here in Alabama, they thought I was pretty cool. They said, oh, that's Unc Ditty. And then when I got into real estate, they said, okay, that's Real Estate Ditty. Right, Real
Estate Ditty.
I never just give myself a name. Some people like to nickname themselves, but I just let the people go with it, and I just ran with it.
For sure, man. So you grew up in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah. And now you're in Alabama. How did you make that transition?
Man, you know what, man? And it kind of go back to high school, man. I was a ball player my whole life, right?
Football, basketball?
Basketball, man. I love basketball to this day. And what happened was I kind of got into I didn't get into a car accident. Believe this or not, my basketball coach actually ended up running me over. It was after a summer league game. It's a crazy situation. And I ended up hurting my back, and I ended up not playing my senior year. So my senior year, man, my parents was, they was like, look, you older now, man. We can't keep doing nothing for you. So I only thing I knew was just turn to the street route and try to make it happen myself. And, I ended up getting into a situation that it led me, one of my guys said, listen, you're going to be 1 foot in. You can't be 1 foot in or 1 foot out. You got to make a decision. And I'm just glad that my pops, he raised me to be a leader, and I was able to look my guy in the face and say, listen, man, I'm going to college. So I just went as far as I could from Ohio. And I was 18. They had no family down here. My mom brought me down. I had $50 in my pocket only at that time. And I just went on my journey, man. That was it. That's how I got to Alabama.
Cool, man. So that's a perfect segue, man. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, bro?
Yeah, man. So, Keith Everett Jr., man, like I said, man, I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. We've been in this market I've been in this market for 5 years now. I'm also in Charlotte, ATL. We in Houston. We actually in Birmingham, Alabama. Been doing this for 5 years now, man. And the only reason I came across this is because just like many people that's watching right now, I mean, I was just tired of my situation, fed up. But one thing I learned, one key thing that changed my whole life, first and foremost, it was just prayer. I was working at a factory at this time for like 5 years, and I'm doing 12 to 16-hour shifts, at least 4 days a week. And they end up at the end of the year, they gave me a 10-cent raise. So I'm like, as a man, I'm like, 10 cents? I know I'm worth more than 10 cents.
Yeah.
I had to just tell myself, listen, I cannot let somebody else tell me what I'm worth and the work that I'm putting in. So I start praying on my lunch break. I used to just sit by myself outside praying to God. Like, I know this ain't what I only supposed to be doing with my life. And as I start praying, it led me to taking the action. I got on Instagram. I unfollowed all BS. Only thing I wanted to follow was success. And one thing I learned is whatever you're looking for, if you keep pressing on it, you're going to end up finding it. But like you said just a minute ago, you had to be ready. So I found this guy named Nick Ruiz. He was teaching about wholesaling, getting into real estate, no money down at the time. I'm like, I ain't got no money to put down. So what I got to lose at this point? So I ended up getting on the webinar, and he was talking about a book that he had just, written. I ended up getting the book. It was $20. Every chapter I read, I had an action plan. So by the time I got to the end of the book, I was ready to take action. So that was around like February. It's actually been 5 years now. Around like March, I ended up start writing on some bandit signs, ended up getting them from like Home Depot. I start putting the stakes down. Somebody ended up calling. And at the end of April, I ended up doing my first deal, which was a JV. And I bought the seller. He bought the buyer. Got my first deal done. We split $2,500 a piece. And I quit my job for 5 years with benefits. And it was history since then. Do I think that was smart? I would never tell nobody to do that, because I know what I had to battle internally, man. I know I had to battle, mentally, emotionally.
Right.
My lady put it all on the line. She moved an hour and a half away to take a job to help me start paying my bills so I can go on this journey. You know what I mean? So every day I'm not only just grinding, I'm like, man, I can't let this woman down, because I already feel uncomfortable with her helping me out anyway. You know what I mean? So I start going hard. That year, I didn't get another deal until like August of 2016. By that time I got that deal, I split it with somebody again, and I already was owing everybody, so I had to pay my debts back. So I had a little bit for marketing, so I just kept on pushing. 2017, I met my partner that I still got now around the same time, and hey, it's been history ever since, man. We did like 45 deals that year. We wrote a hedge fund company all the way to the top.
That's what's up, man. And then 18, you did your first 6-figure month.
Yeah, man, we was rolling, man. And so funny about that, it was the first full month that my partner quit his job. I always told him, I say, listen, it's certain blessings that God is not going to give us until we 2 feet in. And the reason I say that is because one thing about when you first quit your job, you're going to have to lean on something for you even to be able to push forward. We did 154,000, 2 people, no CRM system, no office, no team. We were straight just putting in the work.
We just had a conversation about this the other day. I think you was in that room as well, man, on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Where, we were talking about, is it smart to have a CRM system and all of that stuff set up? Do you need all of that to make money in real estate? And I think you just answered the question. How do you feel about that?
Man, I think starting out, you don't even need to worry about that, man. Like, I ain't even worried about no element. I need to get out of my situation.
Thank you.
Before you can even start talking about that, you're going to have to because most of the times when you start getting into the game, you don't really have no money anyway. So you ain't even got time to really worry about that. You need to just take action, get in the rotation of taking action. Eventually, as you get deals, then you can go ahead and get the LLC while you already got everything going in motion. A lot of people, they wait too long. They trying to be perfect. The thing is, I'm not even perfect right now. So you're never going to be perfect. But you can be a perfect action taker.
That's right. You know what's so crazy, man? Because I was trying to express the same sentiments on that Clubhouse, but obviously people have different views for different things, man. I believe that if somebody's just getting started, why do you need a CRM? Why do you need a virtual assistant? You don't even know what you need it for. You need to take action, get profitable first, and then go ahead and backtrack to get everything systemized and in place. If you got a pen and a piece of paper, that's your CRM. Some people might disagree, man, but again, we talking to, is you and I talking right now, 2 OGs in the game right now. Yeah. We understand how business works. We're both still doing it. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you this, man, the most important thing when it comes to getting started is to get started. Don't worry about all of the extra stuff. So I appreciate you bringing that up, man. So
I want to say this real quick. I know we want to move on to another question, but I just thought about it. Everybody start different and everybody's circumstances are different. You may have a person who may have a couple dollars and they can afford to get an LLC starting out in a CRM system. But, guys like us, man, coming from the places we coming from, our back already against the wall, man. So we really just trying to, we're going day by day, really. You know what I mean? And that's what I tell people all the time. When you first starting out hustling, you need to go day by day. You can't even worry about all that. You know what I mean? I need to give me some deals so I can first for the LLC. I'm trying to pay these bills that I'm buying on.
That's right. I mean?
So I think it all comes down to a person's perspective.
That's right, man. Now let me ask you this. Obviously you got started, you hit the ground running, you made things happen, right? You didn't have that excuse. You went in with no excuses. You basically went out there and took massive action, right? with that in mind, was it an easy transition going from a job into being a business owner?
Man, it wasn't, man. It wasn't, but I was happy. Like, you know, it's so funny. My best years at the job, even when I made 60,000 in the year before, I wasn't as happy as I was when I quit, even in my worst of the worstest times, because I rather be in the worst times and I'm working for myself than I'm having the best time for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I know that probably sounds kind of weird, but I was tired, man. You working 12-hour shifts, the 16-hour shifts for 5 years. And just to wake up and know that you can move when you want to move and be as creative as you want to be, I think that's a blessing within itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I like you said something a couple minutes ago, man. I needed to highlight that for a second because it's really important for people to understand this, man. So you said when you first started, you cut out all of the nonsense. You unsubscribed to everybody who's about nonsense on all social media platforms, and you subscribe to success-minded people. So let's talk about that for a minute, right? How important is it to be surrounded by like-minded people when you start in a business and when you're in business? So like me, I like to talk to you, and we got a lot of the same colleagues, right? And we're all doing big things in our own businesses in our own right. To me, that's one of the catalysts to being successful in business. So how important do you think that is?
Man, listen to me, man. Listen, extremely important. You know why? You know, when I told somebody this the other day, right? And I think I'm not sure if I was on Clubhouse or not. And I sat back and thought about it. I got more millionaire friends, or at least people who didn't touch the million, than I do just people who just, you know, BSing all day, right? So, but you got to think about it, the networking you do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like me and you can hop on the call right now and we could give each other some game that's going to do something for our families. But if you just hanging around anybody, you're not going to be able to do that, man. You ain't got time to be just pulling up on people just because y'all playing the game. Who got time for that? I feel like the world is moving too fast now for you just to be playing around. The more people that you're around who's successful, that is a guaranteed fact. You're going to trigger something in your mind and in your spirit and in your heart that you're going to want the same thing. Or guess what? If you don't fear that your friends going, you know, if you don't get on what they own, that you may lose them, then you ain't around the right people, man.
That's right.
Listen, everything count right now. I'm not talking, listen, sometimes I don't even answer the phone for my family. I holler at you at 5 o'clock. You know, these hustling hours, don't even ask me what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing. That's one of my pet peeves. Hit me up at 12 noon. What you doing? Man, you know what I'm on, man. We hustling right now. You know what I mean? This is nonstop. This don't never change.
You know, it's funny, man, because, you know, people call me, my cousin call me all the time, man. And every time he call me, I'm literally busy. It's not that I'm trying to avoid him, but I know he's not talking about business, right? I love him. That's my cousin, man, my blood. But I don't have time to talk all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm on different things. Even on my wife, she called me up sometimes. She's like, look, you reaching you is like trying to reach the president. You know what I mean? It's because I'm busy all the time, but I get it. And my wife gets it. She understands, right? So after a certain period of time, that's when I'm out of grind mode, that's when we can have that conversation. But you know, speaking of, you know, being in grind mode and things like that, did it take a mindset shift to go from a job to get into grind mode to get into business?
Man, I was already motivated, man. I tell people all the time, listen, ET can't motivate me, man. You know what I mean? Because how can you, man, listen, ain't nobody motivated, man, listen. If you want to be a multi-millionaire, you got to be self-motivated.
Yep.
I'm already motivated, man. Don't nobody got to give me no speeches, man.
That's right.
I know what I want. I know what I want at this life, and I know what my family don't have. So that's enough motivation for me, just to be able to look at my son and knowing that I'm going through certain challenges and knowing that he gonna have to go through challenges. That's enough motivation, because it ain't even about me. It's about getting over these situations so I can look my son in the eye and I can tell him what to do when his problems arise. Or thinking about my sister right now. She locked up. She doing a 4-year bid. When I first started out doing wholesaling 5 years ago, I'm walking my brother through a 9-year bid. So I got whole different situations. I ain't got time to even look at somebody else for motivation, man. I got enough motivation in my family right now for me to want to do this and make it happen.
That's real, man. That's real. Now, obviously, jumping into business, you know, you don't have the same obstacles as you have when you're working for somebody else. What type of obstacles did you face just getting started?
man, you know what, man, when it comes to business, I think it's the point. I think it's just getting it going, man, and battling myself. I think the biggest thing was me battling myself and me overcoming the feeling of me feeling like I don't deserve it though. Because yeah, you can see people getting these checks or see people do this or do that. But for a long time, I was depressed, man, when I was going through it, trying to get this going because I had to overcome, you know, the internal aspect of me feeling like I don't even deserve to get this much. I remember when I first got my first $60,000 deal, I couldn't even sleep at night. You know why? For two reasons. First of all, I ain't never did a deal that big. Second of all, I didn't know if I really deserve it, if God was going to really bless me like that. And now when I look back at it now, I'm like, oh man, listen, that's regular now. I'm getting some rest. I ain't losing no sleep over that because I feel like I deserve it. You know what I mean? And it was just one book when I was going through it, when I was coming up in the game. And as far as the real estate, it was The Secret to the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. When I read that book, to this day, I remember the same principles. You know what I mean? And when I adopted those principles, I realized, you know, the way you think when you lose is going to determine how long it's going to be till you win. And I never, ever forgot that.
That's what's up, man. I'm going to link that book in the description box. We'll talk about that a little later on as well, man. Sure. You know, so you were already self-motivated. You knew you were going to face obstacles and you was ready at the end of the day. And like you said, man, nobody's going to motivate you like yourself. If you don't have an end goal, if you don't know what you want, then you're simply going to be wasting time. You're going to be circling the block in a car with no destination, right?
Right.
So let's give our listeners a step-by-step process, right? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. So if we're providing our listeners with a 3 to 5 step process, right? I know we want to talk about acquisitions and scaling our businesses. First off, before we begin into that, how important is acquisitions in real estate?
What, man, listen, man, if you can't close a deal, man, you're going to have trouble in life. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that everybody, like this whole world is about sales.
Yep.
The whole world is about closing. You know what I mean? I don't care if your wife, you got to close your wife. You know what I mean? You got to close your wife. You got to. But as far as acquisitions, listen, man, I will tell you this. If you're not good at it right now, you just need to work on it every day, man. Just start off by going to the grocery store, speaking with people. Hey, how you doing today? You know what I mean? Because what you're not realizing that's going to be the intro that you need on the phone. Hey, how your day going? I don't care if it's the cashier. How your day been going today? You know what I mean? What can I do to help? Do you need anything? Even if you talk to a family member, they may have, you know, they might have lost their job. I'm sorry to hear about that. You know what I mean? You just got to pick yourself up and you just got to keep on going.
Right.
That stuff that you talk about with sellers, but people are not even thinking like that. And the best thing you got to offer when it comes to acquisitions is you being yourself. All you doing is trying to make a friend and solve a problem. You figure out the problem. If you can build enough rapport to be able to make a friend, eventually, you know, it's going to all be in the middle, man. You got to be a people's person to me.
You know you know what? You know, that's important for people to understand too, especially when it comes to talking to people. First and foremost, people are buying you. They're not buying what you're selling, right? So like Ditty just said, you want to be yourself, right? That's the number one rule when it comes to talking to people. Also, you got to remember that you're just talking to people. That's it. They're not going to bite your head off, right?
So, I ain't seen nobody go to the funeral home because they had to make a call. I've never seen that happen yet.
I like that.
I used to tell myself that I'm not about to have an obituary with me on there because I made a call. You know what I mean? And also, listen, again, it goes back to your why. If you can't look at your why and say, man, listen, I don't care what's going on. I'm making this call. Your why should already push you forward to be able to do that.
That's right. That's right, man. So, you know, like you said, you know, the worst thing that somebody could do on the phone is tell you no. That's it. If that's going to hurt your feelings, after 100 no's, you're not even going to hear the no anymore. So the best thing to do is to fail forward, right? Get as many no's as possible, because eventually somebody's going to say yes, and that yes is going to lead into that deal. So just remember to always be yourself first and foremost. And I like the fact that you said it's just a conversation. You know, the conversation that you have in a grocery store is the same conversation that you're going to have with a seller. That's all it is. You're just talking to people, right? So what are some things that, you know, if we had to provide our listeners with, let's say, a 5-step process to talking to sellers, What's some things that you want to share?
All right. So, and you know what's so funny? I actually do have a 5-step process. I do have it. So it's actually 5 steps. All right. Number 1, when you first get on the phone with a seller, right? And I'm gonna go through the 5-step process of making the offer correctly, right? The first thing you want to do when you get on the phone, all right, of course you want to introduce yourself. You know, you don't never just want to go straight in and say, hey, this is Keith from Hometown Cash Browse calling about this property. No, that's not being a regular person. You sound like you work at T-Mobile right now. When they first get on the phone, hey, how you doing today? How your day going? And they may say, oh, it's going fine. Yours going well. Mine's going pretty well as well. Well, my name is Keith. I was just giving you a call about this property at 123 Main Street. I see you guys spoke to a couple of my agents maybe a couple of days ago, or I was ran past the property a few days ago. Just wanted to give you a quick call to see where you're possibly interested in selling. I try to make it seem like I'm just, man, I just wanted to ask you about the property. That's all I'm looking to do. I ain't looking to come off like I work at AT&T and scare you away from the phone. But once you get the intro out the way, number 1, you want to find out who all the decision makers are. Hey, Mr. Seller, I totally understand that you're interested in selling the property. Is there any other parties? Is any other interested parties, or is there any other decision makers on the property? I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody else's toes. I want to show them the proper respect that you're showing them as well. So you want to find out who all the decision makers are. Number 2, you want to find out before you even get into the property condition or what the property look like or the reason they're looking to sell. If you guys were to be able to agree on the price today, would they be willing to get the process started? Where would that leave y'all at? That's number 2. Number 3, you got to get a great property description. It's no way you can make an offer if you don't know the exact condition of the property. Sellers, of course, they lie all the time, but try to get as much as possible. All right. And another key thing, before you don't just ask them about the roof or the kitchen or nothing. Just say, hey, Mr. Seller, I mean, if you were going to bring the property up to 2021 standards, what's some of the things that you would do to the property? Sound confused at all times. So we got the decision makers. Are they ready to get the process started? If we can agree on something. And number 3, we got a good property description. Number 4, what's the reason they're looking to sell the property? And don't just ask them that question. They tell you what the reason is, and you just go straight to the next question. No, you need to park right there for a moment. Ask them how they're feeling about the situation. What's your ideal situation? How would you like this to go? How would it make you feel if I was able to get the property off your hands? Do you see the situation getting better or do you see it getting worse? Those are the questions we call pain point questions that you ask the seller after you ask them what's the reason they're looking to sell, right? The last thing is benefits. If you know who the decision makers are, you know that they're ready to get the process started. If y'all can agree, if you already got a great property description and you know exactly the reason that they're looking to sell, all you got to do now is just cater the benefits around what you already know about the seller, and you bring everything back up again before you make the offer or while you make the offer, value stack everything on up, run through the whole list, and then ask them what's the absolute best they can do.
I love that, man. 5-step process. And you know what? Like you said, man, life is all about sales, right? So really all you're doing is establishing rapport throughout the entire conversation, opening up with a natural conversation starter, finding out who the decision makers are, finding out a little bit more about the property, and basically value stacking the whole thing, really gearing that conversation towards making an offer that's going to benefit both of y'all. This is a win-win business, right? Win-win situations. I love that, man. So you got a 5-step process. And if you guys didn't catch it, I want you to rewind this and listen to it again, primarily because Ditty mentions, I was going to say Keith or Ditty.
Yeah, either one. It's all
either
good.
One.
We good.
I'm so used to saying Ditty, man.
Yeah. That's what everybody called me, though.
Yeah, no doubt. So Ditty mentioned specific things, a specific formula that you can implement today in your real estate business in order to be able to get more yeses from motivated sellers. Now, obviously, this formula is working really well for you, man. You're doing 6-figure months all the time right now. So how does someone go from doing a few deals a month to duplicating what they're doing in order to do multiple deals every month or pull in those 6 figures every month?
So we talked about the sales aspect of it already. We already know that. We got that down packed. Boom. You already know that you got to have sales skills. That's a given, right? Another thing, you got to have a team. You know what I mean? I feel like that. Could me and my partner duplicate the same thing in 2021 that we did in 18? I really don't know, because the technology is faster. You got more people in the game. So I think that at this point, for you to consistently do, because we wasn't consistently doing six figures when it was just me and my partner. You know what I mean? Before we had a team, we had did it like 3 times, right? We didn't consistently start doing it until we start building out a team. What I'm talking about. So as far as our company, we got 2 acquisition managers, right? 2 people who on the phone closing the deals. We got 2 lead managers who are virtual assistants, which is VAs. All they're doing is they just following up on the leads who didn't answer the phone, right? They following up with the interested leads, meaning somebody was interested in selling their property, but for some reason we didn't get them in contract, so they following up on them leads. Another thing, and we got 2 of those people. We got 2 transactional specialists. They deal with all the files in the company, right? All right. We got a dispo manager, which is my partner. He's kind of running point on that right now. We used to have a dispo manager, but we're in the process of hiring another dispo manager. And I mean, that's pretty much about it. We got 15 cold callers right now. So as the cold callers, and that's another big key thing, you got to identify multiple marketing channels if you want to do 6-figure consistently. We do cold calling, we do RVMs, right? We still do banner signs, we still do strategic direct mail, we do voice broadcasts. We was doing a little bit of text blast at one point in time, but the ones I just named is the ones that's performing the best right now. So you got to have your marketing down pat. You got to spend money on marketing. You can't expect to get a lot of deals if you're not spending money on marketing. So you got the marketing, you got the acquisitions part of it. You got to have a CRM system set up so that way you can be organized. Have we done 6-figure without a CRM system? Yes, we have, but we wasn't doing it consistently. So you need to have somewhere where you can track your numbers and you can track your team, as they making calls all day. So you got to have the marketing down pat, the systems down pat, the sales down pat, and you got to have the people aspect down pat. And then that's how you're going to be able to scale.
And it's not going to happen overnight. That's what I wanted to mention. Most people think, okay, I'm going to snap my finger today and I'm going to be doing 6 figures in real estate. It don't happen that way. The way it happens is a progression into 6 figures every month. Once you hit it once or twice, you know how to do it at that point, and you can do it all of the time, right? So you mentioned that you hit your first 6-figure month back in 2018, but now you're doing it all the time, right? But it was a progression into that. So again, get started first, right? Understand how to talk to sellers, get good at sales first, then start building your team as you become profitable in your real estate business. And another thing you mentioned, marketing, right? So one thing I know about marketing is if you're not nurturing those leads and really digging into those leads, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that in just a minute, then you're never going to hit 6 figures, right? So you mentioned multiple ways of hitting the same leads, right? That's thoroughly work. If you're not thoroughly working your leads, text messaging, cold calling. I know cold calling works best for us in our business right now. That's where we get most of our deals.
Same with us. So I want to break something down real quick. I want to go a little deeper real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the scaling up your business. So first and foremost, we talked about the marketing, the systems. We talk about the sales part. Let's park on the marketing part right here. The number one thing that you need to be doing when it comes to scaling up your business, you need to purchase as many lists as possible. That's one of our number one goals. We want as much data as possible so we're able to successfully perform those different marketing channels. You may pull a big absentee list, right? No, let me say this. We just pulled 176,000 records from Houston, Texas, free and clear list, right? A lot of people don't never tap the free and clear list because there's so much data and it costs a little bit. So we got over 300,000 phone numbers that came back with 176,000 records. Now, first thing we're going to do, we're going to cold call it, right? We're going to cold call the list. We're going to hit it with a RVM because you got to think about it. Some people may not answer the phone because they at work right now, right? So guess what? They may hear that voicemail. Then you may even do some text blasts. So they may not hear the voicemail or they may not answer the phone, but guess what? Everybody got their phone in their hand. They may get that text. You can send them a mailer. So one week you may cold call it, this specific list. The next week you may RVM it. Okay, the next week after that, you may be doing some text blasting. But while you're doing the text blast on this free and clear list, now you got this absentee owner list that you cold calling. So you need as much data as possible, and you need to be able to hit that data in a variety of ways. That's how you're going to continuously stick it up along with the sales, along with the systems.
That's right, man. I love that, man. You know, some of the things that we're doing in our business. So what we do, and this is just for those of you listening, just a segue right into this perfect segue from what Ditty just mentioned. But one thing that we do, we cold call. Then what we do is we send out a letter or a postcard, a big postcard the next day, right? So if we don't get them on the phone, we're sending them a postcard. But then we know when the postcards are hitting because we send a postcard to ourselves as well. So we send them on a group. So once the postcard hit, we send out a text message that same day saying, hey, you know, there's a postcard in your mailbox. Call us once you get it. So it sparks some type of curiosity for the seller, right? So then they want to know what this postcard is about. They go to the mailbox and get it. And now it's telling them, look, we want to buy this property. They call us back. Now we establish some type of rapport with them through curiosity, right? So we did a cold call, we did a text message. Now they're calling us back. If they don't call us back, we hit them with a RVM. We hit them with an email. Email been working really good for us lately as well. Cold calling is our primary source. And then we follow up with another warm call. So it's not a cold call, it's a warm call after you build that relationship with them. And then we put them back into a letter funnel, right? So again, just hitting it from different angles, right? Different people respond to different things in different ways, right? Multiple modalities. And that's the only way. And like you said, data, having all of the data that you need to be able to hit that six-figure number consistently and doing it over and over and over again. Yeah, that's the only way that you're going to be able to scale your business to the next level.
Yeah, some people think you're just going to just magically just find 3 deals and then you're going to be over 6 figures or something like that. You might do that one or twice, but you're not going to consistently do that until you got enough leads and your acquisition people got enough pipeline so they start overflowing. Like right now, right? It's the 21st or the 22nd?
The 21st today, I think.
So we pick up a property. Every property that we picking up right now, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be for March. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we're telling the team, hey, listen, you know, we need to continuously build up that pipeline so that way March can be magical.
That's right.
I mean, we got deals we're going to close in February that I'm actually got a closing right now as we speak that I'm not attending right now, right? I got a closing literally right now, 516 Bell meeting in Decatur, Alabama. You got to think about this. For us to be able to continuously to be able to scale up your company, you got to have the people in place as well, the personnel. So I could be on with my guy right now. We just sitting back, we just doing this.
That's right.
That's a part of scaling. That's a part of doing 6 figures. You got to have your systems in place and your people in the right seats.
That's right. And you know what? Like you said, you close everything you signing up right now is for March, right? You build a momentum for the next month. And you know, next month you'll be building up for the following month. And that's basically how this thing works. It's not rocket science. It takes time. You just got to put in the work. You got to rinse and repeat the same process over and over and over again. And like you mentioned, man, this is a data-driven business. If you're not getting as much information as possible and then reaching out, you know, to those sellers, then you're never going to hit the 6-figure mark. So in order to make that happen, man, you got to understand that this is a people's business. This is a sales business and a relationship business, but it's also a team business. And like Ditty said, you know, if your team is not in place, if your systems and processes are not in place, and if you're not thoroughly working your leads and build the momentum, then you're never going to hit that 6-figure goal every single month. Right?
Facts. That's facts. I mean, that's 100% facts. And when you're talking about hitting, you know, a 6-figure week, that means it got to be on steroids. What you doing?
Yeah, man. So let's talk about that, man. You mentioned that you hit a 6-figure week back in October. So let's talk about that, man. How did that work out for you?
So we did 153 in October, but I'm gonna go to the one that was most special to me, and that's the one we did back in it was June or July. You know, we went out there in Arizona. We had a podcast interview as well with Steve Train with the Real Estate Disruptors, right? So if anybody know anything about Train, he he asks people for their HUDs, so that way that he can verify that they really doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it was so crazy that it was the week before that show. We did our first 6-figure week, and I'm just like, man, that is crazy. And I feel so good. He asked for the HUD. I shut, man, listen, I sent him like 3 minutes. Here he is right here. And what happened was that comes from your acquisition manager's pipeline being filled up. That's all that is, man. You know what I mean? That comes from the deals that was already created in the past, and everything just pretty much dropped at the right time. And that's just being honest with you, man. Sometimes in this business, things just drop at the right time.
Yeah.
You just got to take advantage of it. And also, when you having weeks like that, when you know you got so many closings lined up, that's when you got to press on the gas harder. That's when you got to tell the team it ain't time to stop right now. Just imagine what we can get to if we have a great week like this and we just go 10 times harder. Where can we really go with this thing? We can have
$1 million week.
Family. Exactly.
Get to that $1 million week, man.
And listen, I'm chasing it, man. I believe in miracles. I believe in supernatural blessings. I know you can do it because there's somebody who's doing it right now.
Oh, absolutely, man. You just got to think bigger, man, and be willing to apply yourself. But I believe that you get stronger as you go on. You know what I mean? You're going to start off weak, but you get stronger. For every no, there's going to be a yes around the corner. For every deal, every 10,000 you make, there's 100,000 around the corner. For every 100,000, there's another million, right? So, but it don't happen overnight, right? And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens strategically and over time through your experiences in the real estate business, right? So obviously we can't cover everything about acquisitions and scaling. There's a lot to cover, especially building a multiple $1 million business in real estate, man. So if our listeners wanted to get some more information from you, man, where should they go?
Yeah, man, they can hit me up. Actually go to Instagram, Real Estate Ditty, Ditty. And if you hit my link tree in my bio, I got 2 different things for you. You can get our acquisition course, Mastering the Art of Acquisitions 101. You can get the course, or you can click on my bio in my link tree, and I got a free live acquisition masterclass. So you can either watch the masterclass or get the course, or you can just do both. So it all depends on what they want to do.
That's what's up, man. And I'm gonna make sure I link all of that in the description box for you as well. So check him out on Instagram. Also, he's on Clubhouse as well. I'm gonna link his Clubhouse in the description box. So make sure you check him out. You have the Business Over Breakfast Club that you're a part of, right? Yeah,
Business Over Breakfast. Business Over Breakfast. It was started because I got together with a couple guys, Byron, my guy House Brian, Blue Nose Brandon. We got my guy Milton, and we got my guy O'Neill. And it was 2021, and everybody kind of was slacking on getting up early. At one point in time, we all just get up like a monster early. But when the money start coming in, you start delegating tasks. It start creeping. You start getting up a little. I ain't saying this like I don't get up at like 8 o'clock or nothing like that. But there's been a couple of times I got up at 7. But I had to think back to my hungry days. I was a 5 o'clock type of dude. I'm up at 5 o'clock trying to figure it out, whether I'm praying, meditating, reading. So I wanted to get back to that. So it said, you know what? Let's start this Business Over Breakfast. For one, it's great for Clubhouse because we can provide a lot of value for people. For 2, it's going to help all of us to be able to wake up early and hold each other accountable. So start off with just an accountability call. We asking people, hey, what you want to crush today? What's your goals for the day? Then we were just like, you know what? If we got this platform right here and we can get hundreds and hundreds of people on here, why not just educate the community on a variety of topics that people can benefit off of and they can get themselves going?
That's what's up, man. Brian been inviting me since the beginning, man. I could have been a part of it, man, but I'm not getting up that early.
Oh, you would have been an asset. You would have been an asset, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You definitely would have been an asset.
Appreciate it, man. Maybe one day, man. But at the end of the day, that's kind of early, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
We might at least get you on there one of these days, man. You might have to get up at least one time.
Yeah, for sure.
We can get some of your expertise for sure, man. So we definitely need that for sure.
For sure, man. We could definitely do that. But yeah, man. Obviously, to be successful, you got to read books, or you got to at least educate yourself, right?
Sure.
We mentioned a book earlier today. You want to talk about that book a little bit? Any book?
Man, the book, that was one of the books that it first changed my mindset. Of course, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and all that. But when I read Secrets to the Millionaire Mind, man, I knew instantly when I got done with the book, I said, that's going to be one of them books I read again. Anybody ever come to me about anything in regards to mindset, I point them right in that direction, because you're not going to even feel me or understand anything that I'm saying until you mentally at least understand where I'm coming from. You may not get everything that I'm saying right now because you're trying to start your own journey, but at least you can feel where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I ask. You know what I mean? That's one of the number one things I do with people who reach out to me when they ask me how to get in the game. Hey, listen, man, read this book. Whether it's Secrets to the Millionaire Mind, I Got Flipped by Nick Ruiz, or different other type of books, right? But I think that for me in my journey, you know, it was times I was sleeping on my box spring for 2 or 3 weeks because I sold my bed to be able to get some cash to either get Uber or be able to rent out a rental car the way I can get to these appointments, right? So all I had was books. That's it. I just had books, and I used to just be reading the Bible and just reading business. But that's it. That's all I did.
Sacrifice, man. That's what it's all about.
My mind changed, man.
Mm-hmm.
I looked myself in the mirror. I told myself, this is the last day of your life. You're going to feel sorry for yourself, man. And every time I was feeling sorry for myself, I didn't even realize I was pushing myself on my success date back. I was going backwards and backwards. Every time you feel sorry for yourself, guess what? You got to do that same day again already, whether you know it or not.
That's deep, man. I love that. You know, that's a good way to look at things, man. That's what's up. So if you had any last words for our listeners, what would those words be?
Man, I would just say, man, you know, I tell this to everybody, man, listen, be okay with not being perfect. Be a perfect action taker, meaning that you get straight to it. Anytime that fear start creeping up inside of you, just go even harder, implement even faster, take action even faster, hustle with no emotions. You can't be hustling with no emotions. You know what I mean? You got to get straight to it, man. And remember, some people want to win, but I got to win. That's two different type of mindsets. I can want to do something and not do it. But when I say I got to do something, I feel like them choice of words come with action. And also just remember, how you think when you're losing is going to determine how long it's going to be till you win again. So make sure your mind right.
I love that, man. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Listen, everybody, if you haven't gotten any gems out of this podcast, I don't know what rock you're stuck under. You need to listen to this podcast again, over and over again, pick up all of the gems, get out there and take massive action. Like Diddy said, be a perfect action taker. That's the only way to go from where you are right now to where you want to go in business and in life in general, right? Nice. So at the end of the day, I know you benefited from this podcast. I know that if you're an action taker, you're going to be able to benefit financially as well. But it all starts with doing something. And if you just do something, that leads into the next action, and then the next, and then the next, which will ultimately lead you to your goal in life. So get real clear with what you want out of life. Set the game plan for yourself. Get out there, take massive action in order to get massive results. I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.